In Genesis 2, verse 7, the Bible says after God created man, he breathed into him, and man became what? A living soul. So what he breathed into us is his spirit component. Remember, you are spirit with a soul putting on flesh, body. That is what makes it possible for you to receive from God. So if you are to receive a seed for your preaching, you must dwell in the spirit. There are no two ways about it. You must dwell in the spirit. There are things going on now. No, sir, you know this better. That you can easily buy preaching outlines today. There are companies who prepare it, and they call it for busy pastors. And so all you need to do is contact them, and they have a prepared preaching outline for 1 full year, Sunday after Sunday. And there are also companies who prepare the messages too, not just the outline. The messages have been prepared by them. All you need is pay, and they send it to you. But the thing is, did you receive it from God? You only received it from someone, from man. So, what we talk about must be what we have received from him. John said, no man can give anything, can receive anything except it has been given to him from above. This is what makes the difference in preaching effectiveness and preaching program. You must be able to receive it. So for those who are pastors, how did you wait on God in the past year for the new year to receive something from him to talk about to his people? Or you just sat down and wrote down something because you needed to fill the pulpit at every point in time. Remember, God is spirit. Our relationship with him is spiritual. My assignment in relation to God is that I am a messenger. And my personality is that I am made up of body, soul, and spirit. So it is possible for me to receive from God because I am spirit. It is possible for me to receive from God because I am his messenger. It is possible for me to receive from God because my relationship with him is what? Spiritual. It's not physical. My relationship with him is spiritual. It is not physical. So, this is the bedrock of receiving. So, what are the ways the preacher can receive seeds? What are some of the ways that the preacher can receive preaching seeds? And this is quite important. What are some of the ways that the preacher can receive preaching seeds? Prompting. Prompting is what believers often refer to as, sometimes as leading. You hear people say, I am led. I am led. What is this led? It's a prompt. It's a push. It's a nudge. It's a suggestion to act or behave in a certain way. That is this prompt. And it comes and goes like a flash. And you find that it is something will say is compelling. I was compelled by the Spirit that, look, I must talk about this thing in church, even when there appears to be no evidence. But you just feel that this is what you must preach about. Jesus was led by the Spirit. Jesus was guided, prompted. Simeon was moved by the Spirit. He was dragged by the Spirit to go to the temple where Joseph and Mary were dedicating Jesus. So one way to receive a preaching seed is to understand the prompting that God brings your way. If you are not used to prompting, then you will miss several beautiful moments in knowing what to do. Romans will say, as many who are led by the Spirit of God, they are what? They are the sons of God. So, prompting, that also is a computer language. It is to ask it to do something. You prompt it. So God can prompt you to do something, to say something. Now, I want you to understand this. Preachers, and I am 100% correct about what I want to say. There are times that you have prepared a message. You have prepared a message. And you are about to preach it. You knew this was what the Spirit of God gave you for that time and season. But when you enter into that arena and atmosphere, He gives you a different prompt entirely. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And this is what I always say. When you get such prompts, please don't preach for too long. Lay aside what you had earlier prepared. Take that prompt. Preach with it as much as you can. Because you didn't have enough time to do all the diggings. Say it exactly the way He has given it to you and leave it at that point. Does it happen every time? No. Does it happen sometimes? Yes. We can never drag that away. So, God gives us prompts of what to say. Again, how can we receive preaching seeds? It is an opinion or an idea that stamps itself into your mind. That's an impression. So, when we say, I have an impression in my spirit, you are actually saying that there is something God has put in my spirit. And it may come by feeling of how you feel about your congregation. What you feel about your congregation. And that feeling leads you into, how do I respond to this feeling? What do I say? And because the feeling is about something, scriptures will naturally arise that you can use to attend to the feeling. So, God uses impression to speak to us, to give us seeds about what we should preach about. Why is it possible? Because we are spirit. If Satan can give impression, John 13 verse 2, the Bible says that after supper, Satan put it in the mind of Judas to do what? To betray Jesus. The same thing God does. He puts something in our spirit to be able to preach about. So impression is one way that we can receive seeds. Impression is one way that we can receive seeds. The first one I talked about was what? Prompting. The second one is what? Impression. How many of us have ever experienced a prompting? A prompting. Good. How many of us have experienced an impression? Beautiful. Beautiful. The third one is spontaneous thoughts. Spontaneous thoughts. This is where some of us have issues. And we say, I don't know whether it is my mind speaking to me. The Hebrew actually referred to this as pagar. This is the context of pagar in Hebrew thought. And the word pagar actually means intercession. Something intercepts what you are thinking. So the word intercession is taken from pagar. You notice that sometimes you are thinking about something and something else entirely intercepts what you are thinking about and pushes your flow of thought in a different direction. And that new trend of thought appears to arrest you. Pagar. And the thoughts keep spontaneous. It was never in your mind. It was never in your mind. There was nothing around to suggest it to you. But the thought just came. And it came in a way that gave you peace. But yet, it was spontaneous. It is God who lays things in your heart accidentally to intercept your thought, to push it in a direction. Therefore, as a preacher, you should be aware of your thought and your thought pattern. I'm not one of those who battle with, I don't know whether this is my thought, because I know my thoughts very well. I'm not one of those who battle with, I don't know if this is Satan speaking to me. No, I have no business with him. No business. So I know when I am talking to myself, and I know when his thoughts are actually dominating my mind. So, harvest your spontaneous thoughts. Write them down. Carry a notebook, write it down. Or bring out your phone and in your notepad, write down those thoughts. Because you are definitely going to make use of them. Sometimes when you are preparing to preach, you notice that something is hijacking your thought and explaining something in a direction. Write it down. Spontaneous thought, the Hebrew concept of pagar. Again, how do we receive seed? Revelation. Revelation. And this is the most common. By trance, by vision, or by dream. Trance, ecstasis. Ecstasis. You are just transported out of yourself. It's just like a movie clip. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Come, you saw something. And all of a sudden you are back into your consciousness again. That was what Peter had in Acts 10, 9 to 20. Again, a vision involves pictures with visual impressions on your mind. Like a movie clip. Comes and goes almost immediately. And you are like, what's that? It was a vision. A dream. What we see when we sleep. Most people still operate only in the dream category, when trance and vision are what we can always explore. Have you discovered sometimes that you were sitting down, all of a sudden, you realize that there was a time you left that place where you were, and you just became conscious again, and you are like, what just happened? Where did I go? is important because revelation is all about trance, vision, and dreams. Trance, vision, and dreams. Are there people outside? Let them come in. They are late. Yes. She obeyed my rule. Once we start class, nobody comes in. And you people, we are supposed to be here before 9. That's the rule. You see, relationship. Great not for my wife. All of you will be outside. You see what we are talking about at the outset? You see, the preacher needs to talk about the person that he has a relationship with. See, I just saw my sweetheart and I forgot that I was live for her. It's like that, a bit. All right. So, how does the preacher receive his preaching seed? By what? By revelation. If you say you are a child of God and you have never had a revelation, your relationship with your father is questionable. Because he uses trance, vision, and dreams to speak to us a lot. 2008, October 2008, I was in the hospital where I went for surgery. I think it was the 10th day, or second day after my surgery. Still battling with consciousness, pain, a lot of pain and so on. When I had a trance.